The beef is very simple for me. Martell got caught cheating, and then decides he's gonna drag everyone else down. He continues to make bad decisions in his life, and he blames others for his bad decisions, right?
Bro, no,
and so real talk
about the
problem is this though, Martell always seen me as just not on the right level.
Martell sat there proudly, saying it had been 6 years since he cheated. 6 whole years. As if this single statement was supposed to erase everything that came before it. But let's be real, how are people supposed to forget the fact that he fathered a child with Arionne Curry while still married to Melody Sheree? How do you brush aside years of public betrayal, televised humiliation, and the breakdown of a family, simply because you stopped cheating for a stretch of time? The way he delivered that confession made it sound like he believed he had dropped some kind of shocking truth. But really, all it showed was how far removed he is from reality. Martell destroyed his marriage with his own hands. He embarrassed his wife on national television, dragged his children through unnecessary chaos, and gave his mistress a permanent role in his life story.
Just to be in a happy place, I feel that everybody should be able to speak the truth, no matter what that is. Be happy, and that's where I'm gonna be.
Saying you haven't cheated in 6 years doesn't erase the pain you created before. That's not growth, it's denial. Martell tried to frame it like a victory, but in truth, it was nothing but delusion. Then comes Arionne, quick to interrupt and remind everyone that Martell is paying for her nursing school. Yet she complained that he doesn't want her working nights. The way she whined about money was frustrating, almost as if she believed she should be making $50 or $60 an hour straight out of the gate. Let's pause right here. She had already dropped out of nursing school once before. Why? Because she was too busy being involved with a married man. Instead of focusing on her own future, she invested her energy into chasing after Martell. When his wife was pregnant, she decided to get pregnant too, competing in the most destructive way possible. That isn't ambition, that's obsession, and it only makes the entire situation look even more unstable. Watching her ramble about braces and ponytails while trying to defend her dependence on Martell was almost sad. This isn't love. This isn't partnership. It's two people choosing to stay trapped in dysfunction. But here's the real kicker. Martell's arrogance is what makes this circus even more unbelievable. Someone called him a cheater, and instead of holding himself accountable, he smirked and said something along the lines of, "Yeah, cheater like me," almost proudly. That's the twisted way he plays with emotions. In one moment, he admits his wrongs, and in the next, he paints himself as the victim. The scary part? He actually seems to believe his own lies. He has repeated his version of events so many times that he's convinced himself it's the truth. That's why he looked so shocked when Melody finally left him. In his mind, he thought she would never gather the courage to walk away. But Melody did exactly what so many women pray for the strength to do. She left. She rebuilt her life piece by piece. She stood tall on her own. Meanwhile, Martell has been scrambling ever since, lost without the shield Melody once provided for him. What makes it worse is his refusal to accept reality. He still plays the victim card, pretending Melody left without reason, going live on Instagram or sitting in interviews as though years of infidelity and humiliation never happened. He acts like we're all supposed to forget the countless receipts, the public embarrassments, and the fact that he openly destroyed his own family. The audience isn't blind. Fans saw it unfold. The cast saw it unfold. And most importantly, Melody lived it day after day. She carried the weight of his betrayals, protecting his name even while her heart was breaking. Now that she is finally free, Martell wants to rewrite history, but that's impossible. And let's not ignore the obvious. Martell has a child with Arionne, a woman he once swore he would never take seriously. That child is innocent and deserves nothing but love. But Martell mishandled the situation from the very start. Instead of quietly stepping up as a father and protecting all his children, he allowed the drama to spill into the courts, the show, and the blogs. Melody has had to explain to her kids why their father is all over social media for the wrong reasons. Yet through all of this, Melody has managed to remain calm. She keeps her smile, provides stability for her children, and continues to carry herself with grace. That's a level of strength Martell can never understand. Now let's look at Arionne again. She once bragged that Martell treated her like a queen, flying her in helicopters, spoiling her in fancy hotels, showering her with expensive gifts. But look at her now. She's on live streams talking about going back to nursing school, wearing braces, and trying to start over. That's not the life of a kept woman. That's not the glamorous life she once believed she was stepping into. Her reality is messy, uncertain, and dependent on a man who doesn't even know what he truly wants. Martell's pattern is clear. With Melody, he didn't know what he wanted. With Arionne, he still doesn't know. He craved Arionne's attention, but also wanted the stability and reputation that came with being Melody's husband. And in the end, he lost both. Now he sits around broke, bitter, and ranting about nurses cheating, rambling about algorithms, while people laugh at his every word. The Scotts, Marcel, Maurice, Kimmy, and Letitia have all seen this disaster unfold with their own eyes. They know Martell is his own worst enemy. Marcel may criticize, Maurice may try to mediate, Kimmy may attempt to stay fair, and Letitia may roll her eyes, but none of them defend him outright, because how do you defend the indefensible? Karma doesn't always strike with a thunderbolt. Sometimes it creeps in slowly. And right now, karma seems to be living at Martell Holt's doorstep. His businesses have failed, his finances are unstable, his custody battles have left him humiliated, and every time he speaks publicly, people clown him. That's not bad luck. That's reaping what you sow. Meanwhile, Melody is thriving. Her music is flourishing. She's running successful businesses. She's raising her kids beautifully. Most importantly, she's at peace. And that glow, that inner light, is something Martell will never be able to touch again. Let's pause for a moment, because as embarrassing as things already are, it gets worse. Arionne herself admitted that Martell used to sneak her meals nearly a decade ago, 8 or 9 years back. Think about what that means. At that time, Martell was married to Melody, raising children, filming shows, presenting himself as the perfect husband. Yet behind the scenes, he was sneaking around like a teenager, playing delivery boy for his mistress. Arionne tried to frame this as romantic, but in reality, it only proved how long Martell had been unfaithful. This wasn't a one-time slip, it was a consistent pattern. And the saddest part is that she thought bragging about it would elevate her status, when really, it just highlighted how deep Martell's betrayal ran. Even now, Arionne asks him if he prefers her to work or to stay home. That right there shows Martell's mindset. He loves control. He doesn't want a partner who stands on her own. He wants someone dependent, someone who feeds his ego by needing him. That's why he clashed with Melody. She was ambitious, independent, and refused to dim her light for him. With Arionne, it was different. He could play provider until the money dried up, the hotels stopped, and the helicopters were no more. Now she sits uncertain, wondering whether to wait for him to take care of her or to find a job of her own. That's not love, that's dependency. And the irony? Even with Arionne, Martell can't keep things together. He contradicts himself constantly, swinging from bragging about his achievements to snapping defensively, telling her not to make him angry. He isn't in control. He's spiraling. And the saddest part is that he doesn't even see it. The more he talks, the worse it gets. People say Martell is his own worst enemy, and they're right. Every time he opens his mouth, he exposes more of his flaws. Melody doesn't have to defend herself anymore. she can sit back quietly, watching Martell and Arionne hand her all the proof she'll ever need. That's why Melody is winning. She chose peace. She chose herself. She let Martell drown in the very chaos he created, and it shows. Her success radiates from her. Her confidence is undeniable. Her happiness is visible. Meanwhile, Arionne is still talking about braces, and Martell is still arguing about nurses. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Martell's claim that he hasn't cheated in 6 years was supposed to sound like redemption. But even if we give him that, what about the years of damage before? What about the lies, the disrespect, the public scandals? What about the child he fathered during the affair? No matter how many years pass, the pain he caused can't be undone. Even the Scotts, who have seen everything firsthand, aren't fooled. They've witnessed Martell twist the truth, but they also know the reality. That's why you see the side eyes whenever he tries to play the victim. Nobody's buying it. The evidence is endless, and Martell himself keeps adding to it. At the end of the day, this isn't just a messy situation. It's a reflection of Martell's entire life right now. Chaotic, inconsistent, embarrassing, and built on denial. And the more he and Arionne talk, the more obvious it becomes that they are trapped in a cycle they can't escape. But Melody escaped. She walked away. She built her own peace. And today, she's thriving in ways Martell can only dream about. That's the sweetest form of karma he will ever see. While he's stuck in dysfunction with a partner who can't decide whether to work or wait, Melody is living her best life, free, happy, and glowing. And that wraps it up. This story shows how quickly life can change and how hidden truths always find their way out. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates and stories coming your way.